Stop. So all I was doing is I was just standing there. She slapped me in the face. Oh hey, I didn't see you there. It's the instrumental editor here. This is my second video. First video was kinda random. The video's right there. You can go watch it if you want to. It was my last video. Go watch it now! Yeah, what I'm basically doing on this channel is making videos of like cutting around, not here outside, making like music with cutting and stuff. Basically making just like stop motion stuff where I'll do random stuff with stop motion, kind of like Mr. Guitar Man. He's kind of my inspiration to do this whole shenanigans. My dog might eat me in one of my videos too. So thanks for watching this video. Rate, comment, subscribe. Please, if you really want to, you can favorite this video if you like that. I'll favorite my last one. Rate, comment, subscribe this video. Please enjoy my videos. It's nice watching you while you watch me. Yes, well, you know. All good things have to go to an end.